Peace be with you, everyone. Welcome to the channel. My name is Trevor. Very grateful to have you here. And today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you my weekly fragrance rotation just about this third week of May 2024. So really beautiful weather where I've been at, really temperate and kind of like how I have behind me here. I had one day last week that was a little bit stormy and overcast, I want to say, and that was Sunday. I did have a really nice green woody fragrance that is perfect for the springtime in my opinion, and a little bit of a hidden gem. So we'll get to that at the end of the video. Without further ado, I'm going to start off with my scent of the day for Monday. This is first time wearing this one technically, although I've kind of worn the DNA before. This is Homme, Idéal, Plantine, Prive from Guerlain, and this is basically a rebottling and repackaging of a Homme Idéal cologne, which they had discontinued previously. Came in a white bottle with some yellow juice. I say that this one is pretty spot on, although I do prefer the original slightly, so if you can find that one maybe on eBay or Mercari for around the same price, because this is going for right around $130 a lot of the times, which is full retail. It's hard to come by this one at discounters at the moment. It is supposedly a limited release, and I think the packaging on the original was a little bit nicer with the white edges. This one is basically that really nice creamy almond that you get familiar with from the Homme Idéal cologne, or for the Homme Idéal line. It's also freshened up with a really nice grapefruit and neroli and a little bit of vetiver. So that's really the main four notes that I get out of this one. The difference between this and the original, I find that this one's a little bit more bitter and sharp, whereas the original is a little bit more powdery and sweet. Although they're extremely close, and I think you're really mincing details, getting down to it, comparing the two. But overall, I would say pick up the original if you can. Otherwise, this is a really great, easy, dumb reach and pleasant fragrance. Perfect for a casual setting, maybe a picnic for this time in the month of May. So that was Homme Idéal Plantine Prive for Monday. Tuesday, I think this was the second time that I've worn this fragrance, still getting to know it somewhat. It's revealed a little bit more of its self to me over this second wearing. This is Neo from Xerjoff, and the first time I wore this, I got a lot of, or at least I was looking for some comparisons to Artisan Pure. I think that's the most common comparison on Fragrantica, although in the second wearing I picked up a lot more of the cardamom that's in here, and it started to remind me a lot more of another fragrance, which is actually going to be my fragrance of the day for Thursday. So we'll get into that, but this is, I think, a little bit, at least I might be going nose blind to it, but it seems to be a little bit short-lived of an experience for me for the price. I got this for like $120 for a 50 ml on fragrancebuy.ca. A little bit pricey for what it is. I think this is a really beautiful scent, well done, very sharp and green and masculine and high quality, but overall I think the DNA can be found elsewhere for a cheaper price, and also I guess the longevity is left to be wanting. I'm still going to wear it a few more times to see if I've been going nose blind, see if I get people complimenting me on it throughout the course of the day. So far, no compliments with this one though, although I hear that it is a big crowd pleaser for other people. But really nice fragrance, worth sampling, I would say, but I think there are a few other options out there that are just as good for a more affordable price. Artisan Pure from John Barbados being one of them. Although, I think that this DNA comes a little bit closer to my scent of the day for Thursday. So for Wednesday, this overall DNA is another one that I wore twice this week. Another fragrance on Friday that shares the same profile. This is Armani Eau pour Homme. I believe this has been discontinued along with the Eau Cedra, and I think there's an Eau Noir, green and black bottles from this line, but you can still find it pretty readily available for right around the $95 to $100 mark. This is a really nice, beautiful, sharp, soapy, citric, Italian style fragrance. Really easy to wear. I get pretty good longevity for this being a freshie. Right around the 6-hour mark. It has a really good amount of pump and projection coming off of me, and the citrus is really well done in here. Other than that, like I said, an Italian soapy citrus is the basic vibe that you get off of this one. I think this is probably the most modernized version of this sort of take, the soapy citrus, that I've tried. Really, a lot of the times they go into a little bit more of a mature direction. If you've tried Boucheron pour Homme, it's probably the cheapest high quality fragrance in that soapy Italian citrus genre that I've gotten my nose on, probably the one most people might be familiar with. But this is, like I said, probably the most crowd pleasing and modernized take on this DNA, and I highly recommend this fragrance for especially this transitional period from spring moving into the summertime. I think the soapy quality in here is great for the spring, and the well done sparkling citrus are really great for the summer. So that was Armani Eau pour Homme for Wednesday. And then Thursday, again, like I said, this is the fragrance that somewhat reminded me, or that Neo reminded me of. This one goes a little bit more, has a little bit more depth, I want to say, a little bit more creamy and sweet qualities going on for it. And in some sense, I appreciate it more because of that. This is Voyage d'Hermes Parfum. And both this and the Eau de Toilette, I think, come really close to what Neo has going on, but this one has a little bit more projection and longevity than the Eau de Toilette. In my experience, the cardamom is a little bit more heavy-handed in this fragrance than it is with either the Neo or the EDT of the Voyage d'Hermes, and I think this is a really great little hidden gem. The prices on it have been kind of up and down, somewhere between $80 and $100 is what you can find this for on the discounters, but incredibly well crafted fragrance. Beautiful, like I said, creaminess, really nice floral kind of neroli pop, and then some excellent cardamom. This surprisingly has a pretty good longevity on my skin. I get around 6 hours with it, maybe not all day long, but really beautiful stuff. I think it is somewhat leaning unisex, which might be a detractor when comparing it to Neo, which I think is probably the most masculine take on this DNA, but this one overall I think just has that little bit more depth to it and that really nice Hermes quality, I want to say, or that signature quality that Hermes has with that light and airy citric appeal. Definitely something I would say getting your nose on, especially for, again, this transitional period between spring and summer, and also from summer into the fall time. I think the cardamom does a really good job of carrying its weight into the autumn. So that is Voyage d'Hermes for Thursday. Friday is a day where I like to wear niche fragrances, and this again was in that same genre of soapy citrus aromatic, same as the Armani Eau pour Homme. This one adds a little bit of a Fougere quality with some lavender, although it's classified as an aromatic Fougere, this fragrance is, but I get neither a fern-like green outdoorsy quality from it nor a shaving foam scent profile, and again it just reminds me more of a soapy citrus Italian style fragrance. But this is Scandal Pour Homme Parfum from Roja Parfums, and I think this is probably the most well blended high quality take on in this genre, whereas this one I think is the most modern and easy to wear. This still carries a little bit of that mature vibe to it, but I think it does so in a very gentlemanly way. If you can carry yourself in a mature manner, I think this is an excellent fragrance to go for. It doesn't really smell dated, but it does have a little bit more of that oak mossy style older man feeling to it. A lot of the comments on Fragrantic say this smells a little bit old womanish because it does have a really powerful floral component to it, but I absolutely love this stuff. I got a really good deal on it. Picked it up for, I believe, $160, right around there, and I even used the coupon code and brought it down $10 more, so I got it for like $149.99, something like that. They usually go for a lot higher of a price. I don't know if I would be as ecstatic about it if I paid that extra $100, but there is a Parfum cologne version of this that I hear smells pretty close. I'm waiting to get my nose on that one to give a proper recommendation or comparison, but so far this has been one of my favorites to wear in the month of May since I got it a couple weeks ago. So that is definitely one I would say worth sampling, is Roja Scandal Parfum from Roja Parfums. And then moving into Saturday. Saturday, again, really nice temperate weather most of the week up until Sunday, which is the only day we had a little bit of a rain. But this is one of my personal favorite fragrances to wear, period. doesn't really get me a lot of compliments or positive attention. It has a little bit of that mature feeling to it as well, but amazing, cool geranium, a little bit of chamomile, unique sweetness to it, and a great history and heritage. This is Fougere Royale from Houbigant, the original Fougere fragrance. This was redesigned and reformulated by Rodriguez Flores Rue, who's the in-house perfumer for the most of the John Varvatos fragrances, and then the creative director behind this was Roja. So really awesome, like I said, heritage and story behind it. Does get a little bit of that nice fern-like fantasy note going on. It feels a little bit like when you take a leaf and like pop it open. There's a little bit of a crispness, a little bit of that dewy, the water flowing through the veins of the leaf. I get a little bit of that in here with, again, that added sweet quality coming in from lavender, chamomile, really nice creaminess, a tonka bean in here as well that really just makes it feel really classy. If I could compare it to an everyday smell, it reminds me of those buttermints that come in Easter candies or maybe at a wedding or church alongside those peanuts. Carries that very pastel style color scheme to it, I would say, but again, one of my favorites to wear. I just love the barbershop Fougere genre, and this is again the original and one that I find is very, very enjoyable as a wearing experience. So that was Fougere Royale from Houbigant. Really great projection sillage on this one as well for Saturday. And then Sunday, again, this was the only rainy day that we had, and I think that this fragrance does an excellent job of having a really nice green woody facet while also being effervescent, sparkly, citric heavy, and cooling for the warmer months. So this is really a hidden gem for the spring summer transition, I want to say. And there's a cypress note in here that plays really well in that rainy weather, but I think it would do excellent in the temperate climates like this behind me. This is from the House of Chanel, an underrated one that's available for I think right around $150 full retail, so pretty good price, and the bottle is a 4.2 ounce. This is Paris-Édimbourg, and so the main notes that I get in this are juniper, cypress, lavender, and citric qualities. I don't know if it's a lemon in here, but yeah, sparkling citrus, a really nice gentlemanly lavender, a cooling effect from the juniper, and the cypress I think is probably the #1 most present note in here. Gives it that really nice woody depth and a green facet to it. Excellent stuff. I kind of blind bought this. I only looked at other people's commentary on it after I had discovered it, kind of filtering through some Fragrantica. I don't know how I stumbled upon this, but I did see Urban Dweller do a review on it after to see if I wanted to pull the trigger on it, and he convinced me to go ahead and pick this one up. He said that he recommended it, and I couldn't agree more. It's just, like I said, a really nice hidden gem, pretty affordable fragrance from Chanel, and especially at the 4.2 ounce size, this is excellent stuff. Half tempted to wear it as my fragrance of the day today. Still getting to know it a little bit, but really I think one of my favorite Chanels for the springtime right now. I do enjoy, you know, all the Chanel Allure Homme flankers and the original, but and Platinum Egoiste is also another favorite of mine for the springtime, but this one I think is moving up the ranks rather quickly just because I'm a big fan of the note of cypress, and the citruses in here are really, really well done. So check this one out. I don't know how easy it would be to sample it, but if they have it perhaps at your Sephora's or Macy's, get your nose on this one. This is Chanel Paris-Édimbourg. Again, really great wearing experience for the overcast and stormy weather where the clouds were kind of giving off a little bit of a green hue because they were overripe with a lot of moisture, and I think that the greenness in that fragrance played really well into that environment. So that was my week in fragrance. Let me know what your rotation was in the comment section down below, and as always, I really appreciate you sticking with me to the end of the video. I'll see you in the next one. Take care.